Welcome to the Life Refresh Podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. And if you are looking for a podcast that is designed to uplift, encourage, and revive your heart, mind, and spirit, you're in the right place. Welcome to the journey of becoming the version of you God designed from the foundations of the earth. Now, let's begin. Hello and welcome back to Life Refresh Podcast. You know who this is. This is Ryan. I'm excited to get back with you again for our next podcast today. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to share this podcast with someone that you know that you believe or think may need and get some value out of it. Last time we talked about unlearning helplessness. And I think it's one of the hardest things that we have to do because learned helplessness is something that is almost intrinsically put into our habits. Whether you're young and you ask for help or it's something that you've never done before and some people just took care of it for you. Learned helplessness is something that many of us, particularly in other areas of our life, we may have given away our power in those areas. So the thing is, once we have realized that we've unlearned or need to unlearn helplessness, what does it look like to really get out of those circumstances and that particular mindset? And, one of the things, and one of two things that we have to start off with is having clear vision. Whenever we get a rainstorm and we are driving to our destination, we have to have a clear windshield in order to make out what is going on in front of us. I've had times in the past where my windshield wipers needed to get changed and I really couldn't, or I didn't realize that I need them changed, and turning them on full blast left streaks in the windshield of areas that were not getting captured by the windshield wiper, therefore creating a gap in vision. So if I'm driving at night and you get those glares from the street, from the wet ground, it makes it really difficult to navigate what's in front of you because you don't have clear vision. You may be a bit nervous because of it. You may be a bit apprehensive about driving a certain speed, even if you're even below the speed limit, let alone above it. You just don't know what is in front of you. And because your vision, your windshield is unclear, you have to almost second guess what you're doing, what you're driving over. Am I running over a pothole? Is there something in the middle of the road? It just creates all kinds of anxiety that is unnecessary if you got the right windshield wipers or did the appropriate maintenance needed in order to have your car in a position for clear travel and safe travel. So just like a car, our mindset and vision of what we have to have in our life has to be clearer. Now, I'm not saying it has to be completely defined. I'm not telling you that you need to sit back and wait for this whole thing, the whole vision of your life to come to pass. I'm not saying that to anyone. You'll be waiting for a long time trying to figure out what the vision is, what the idea for your life is all about. But you have to get clear on something. So determining what you feel or what you are truly gifted in and what you want to do with that gift will actually provide some clarity, at least give you some direction. because having some direction will actually take you somewhere, whether it may be the right direction you want to go to, but at least you're moving somewhere. You're taking a step. So I want to anchor this scripture or our time on this podcast to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 and 3 is a very, very common scripture that's used in many times. And again, this book is a minor prophet book. It's a very small book in the Old Testament, but it really has a lot of power to it if you apply some of the things that are in it. So I'm going to read it to you in the New King James Version. It says, "Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak, and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Okay, so the Lord said to write the vision and make it plain. Make it plain. What does that mean? Writing the vision of what you see is not an action that is laborious. It should be, what do I see? Do I see myself there? Write it down. It's 2 action steps. Write the vision. Okay. So writing it, you have to have enough faith to write it first off. If you don't believe it'll happen, I guarantee you won't write it down. If you don't think it's possible, you won't write it down. If you think that it is something that, I get to it when I get to it, and you don't have any excitement about it or any passion about it or any plan around it, you won't write it down. So the thing is the vision, first of all, strong enough for you to even write it down in the first place? Okay. Now, what does that the best is yet to come for you? All right. Talk to you soon. Characteristics of what a vision is. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Therefore, a vision is something that is ahead, a purposeful time that you haven't come up to yet, but will eventually get to at some point. Okay. Now, if you don't give yourself clarity of what that end goal is, there's a gap between where you are and what the vision is in front of you. I don't know if what you believe God for or what you believe for your business, for your family, whatever that vision may be, it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You have to grow and develop and change. In fact, there might be some things that you may have to leave, things that you may have to require, some things that you have to unlearn in order to allow yourself to become a person worthy of that vision. Now, we don't always know what vision costs us as we go along the way. We have no idea what that cost is. It could be late nights. It could be whatever the case is. But when you write it down, that is a declaration to that idea that, you know what? I believe that this is the end goal for me. This is an outcome that I believe in. So then write the vision, make it plain, be clear about it. If there's a car, or again, I won't say material, that's kind of an easy thing to do. But if there's a particular outcome that you want to be, whether it's whether you're traveling, whether it's family, whether it's a home, whether it is the kind of work you'd like to do, be clear about it. Use the when, where, hows, those kind of details. Even putting a timetable is somewhat okay, because at least it gives you something to work towards. It gives you a framework by which you can work towards. And writing it down, like I said, is half the battle, because everyone has ideas in their brain. Everyone has an idea like, oh, yeah, I see myself. I close my eyes. I see myself. Okay, I see yourself. But the other part of this, the key part of this, is the B clause of verse 2. It says, write the vision, make it plain, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. So the thing is, there's a prerequisite that you can't run unless you read it. It has to get you moving. It has to get you excited. It has to get you amped up about getting towards what it is. If you don't write it down, you can't remind yourself. There's so many thoughts that we process on a daily basis, and our goals and our vision are not one of them all the time. It will take a back burner. It will get completely muddled. It could be it may change up because of circumstances that we're going through for a particular day. You have a bad day, I guarantee you're not going to think about vision. So writing it down will actually encourage you and remind you actually that in order to reach a certain goal, I have to become this kind of person. And the only way you can do that is if you write it down to remind yourself. We use to-do apps, we use reminders, we do all kinds of things to remind ourselves of daily tasks and outcomes and things that we have to get done on a daily basis. But when it comes to ourselves, we don't do it. When it comes to our purpose, our God-given, God-sized deposited vision for our lives, we don't write it down. I am guilty, or have been guilty, of really taking it for granted, because that is exactly what we do. Because we don't write it down, because we don't carry forward, that we don't provide ourselves a North Star. We are basically taking this gift, this vision for granted, thinking that our minds will keep it together. Yeah, of course, there might be opportunities and times that you have a vision so impactful that you just can't forget it. But I guarantee if you wrote some goals 5 years ago, can you tell me what those goals 5 years ago were? And did you even reach them? Don't look at anything. You might remember one or two. I literally remember two that I had. So writing it down in itself is an act of faith. So writing it down and getting clarity of thought on it is extremely important, because not only do you see it, but you may have loved ones, you may have coworkers, you may have friends that are also seeing this thing too. And sometimes you don't need people to believe you. You just need some people to just see it with you, that can maybe intrinsically keep you accountable to the fact that you have put something out there in the world that now keeps you accountable to that vision and goal that you have for your life. I actually have corrective lenses. I use contacts really for the most part. But anyone that has corrective lenses always has to have some kind of cloth or solution to make sure that the appropriate lens, the appropriate contact has what it needs to function well. Contacts require moisture daily. Glasses require a bit of moisture, but they also require abrasion from a cloth that's soft, microfiber cloth, whatever it is, in order for clarity to set in. But it is a daily process. For those contact wearers that I know, try going about a week with your contacts in your eyes and tell me what you got to do. You got to put them back in the case and give your eyes a break, because the contacts are losing moisture. They will not function as they're intended to, and actually cause you pain because you didn't do the exercise of putting the contacts in the solution. Cook bacon and wear your glasses. And don't tell me that you get oil on your glasses. People go through days and moments where it's foggy outside, it's cold, it's raining, all the elements, circumstances, situations, dust, dirt, whatever you want to call it, your glasses are going to get dirty. You need something to clarify your vision. So it's okay to have and our vision being clarified for you in your life. Is it being written down? Is something that's written somewhere that you can have access to it at any point in time to recalibrate your mind, just like your eyes have to be recalibrated, readjusted with the moisture solution for your lenses and glass cloth for your eyeglasses. But for your mind, you have to see it. You have to see it somewhere. Whether you draw it out, whether you do a vision board for it, whatever it looks like, you've got to take what's in your brain and put it in the material plane that we live in. Because essentially everyone has an idea, but not every idea materializes. Ooh, I'm going to say that again. Everyone has an idea, but not every idea materializes. Somebody just was smart enough to write it down. They didn't trust their thoughts, or they didn't trust their brain to keep it. They didn't trust their brain to keep it. So they got some paper or pulled up the notes app in their phone and wrote it down. So I want to encourage you all to write down the vision that you have for your life. Visions for your health, for your finances, for your family, for your business, all these areas that you have in your life, for your body. What do you see then? What do you see there? And then once you have that vision out there, what kind of person do you have to become in order to reach those goals? If you want to lose some weight, you can't be a person who loves to eat fast food all the time. People that lose 15 to 25 pounds don't do that. So you have to find what you're willing to run towards, because your vision is for an appointed time. There's a beginning and there's the end, and all the work happens in the middle. So I want it to be clear, because the next step, because once we've learn helplessness, then we have to get clear on where we're going to go and who we want to become. And by doing that, we have to write it down. The next podcast episode is going to be really clear. It's a part of this one, but also a part of this same scripture. But there's another piece of it that you'd have to lock in for this year. We are almost 10% we almost have 10% of the days, we're 30 some plus days into 2023, which is 10% of the year's already gone, y'all. I don't know where time is going, but I really want you to lock in on this last step, because just like I said, everyone has ideas, but not every idea materializes. So what do we have to do to get your idea to materialize? Tune into the next podcast. Talk to y'all soon. Peace. Thank you for tuning into the Life Refresh podcast. There are 3 things I'll need you to do before you go. 1, subscribe to this podcast, whether it be through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure that you subscribe to get the latest episode in your feed. 2, rank the podcast. If you like what you heard today, make sure you give it a great rating on those platforms. It'll help get us the exposure we need to make our message much broader and reach a different audience. And 3, make sure you share this episode. I guarantee if you found value in it, someone you're connected to will find value in it as well. With that said, take care and tune in to the next episode of